Hey, it's your buddy Peace and Harmony with you here today. I want to applaud you and much love going out to you who are diving deep and rising above some very difficult narcissistic relationship issues. Issues where you feel like you're constantly be given the short end of the stick, or you're constantly having to hand over the long end of the stick. You're constantly having to shut up for this person, not communicate, not speak, not have your emotion, not have your presence, and not be happy in the relationship. It's as if the narcissist is almost addicted to you being unhappy. The narcissist is almost quenching their fire by seeing you down, seeing your own passion distinguished or extinguished. Seeing you grovel, seeing you rumble, seeing you unhappy, and they don't really do anything about it. Hence, this is really the experience of the malignant, covert narcissist relationship. An individual who might see that you're hurting, might see that you're wandering, might see that you're needing guidance, love, attention, affection, but yet they don't really lend a helping hand. They don't really lend a hello. They don't really lend a bit of time. They don't give you the time of day. They're not there to really encourage you or relate back to you what you're going through, validate you. And hence we have the experience of negative validation through the withdrawal of attention, communication, and really sort of the natural, normal human needs. This person then turns to inwardly try to satisfy these, and oftentimes feels negatively validated, feeling that they are worthless. They are garbage. They are, at the bottom of the pit. They're at the bottom of the barrel, feeling like they stink. Their life stinks. While they're around this person, because they feel extinguished, they feel lifeless, they feel deadened inside by the sabotaging behaviors of a malignant covert narcissist. And how does it get malignant? How does it get so destructive? Well, there's a tendency for a covert narcissist to be very cold in their demeanor. They might be very warm or have a warm personality, which is the original allure. This person might be very charismatic, very loving in a very quiet, non-productive way. Or they might be a provider, but it's not profuse. It's not, their love is abundant, but it's a quiet abundance. They might just have been there for you to acknowledge you and pick you up when you originally met them. They might have been originally charming, their knight in shining armor, or the queen, the gal, the diva, whatever you want to call it, in knight in shining armor, who originally came on your path and had betwixt you, who had bewitched you with their charm. And how did this become malignant? How did it become so destructive? Well, when your normal, natural human needs, which are to be loved, to have attention to be acknowledged, to be communicated with, these are all normal, natural human needs. And when this is turned from a covert narcissist with a shut eye, a shut heart, a shut ear, this tends to become internalized by those individuals who are around them in a sort of negatively validating way. In other words, all the blame shift goes on them, and they then enter into a maze, an enigma of, what did I do wrong? Why am I not good enough? Why am I not pretty enough? Why am I not smart enough? Why am I not talented enough? What did I do to deserve this treatment or lack of treatment? It's oftentimes a lack of a treatment, or it's abuse by withholding, that this becomes so malignant and so pervasive and so chronic, because it sends people on a spiral of an inward assessment that they are not good enough, that they are worthless. And so they tend to then dive into really a sort of a questioning or a doubt or a negative assessment or negative analysis about themselves. And this negative evaluation never seems to end, as long as they're with the covert narcissist. And weeks and months and years can go by without one's normal, natural human needs being attended to and satisfied and satiated through this individual. So it can be very isolating. This person can feel very lonely even though they're in a relationship. They can feel very isolated even though they're living with this person and with a lot of people. They feel like it's just a show, it's a sham, it's superficial. their heart's not in it. Their mind, body, and spirit is not in it. There's something missing. And, it's as if, they're almost living with a stranger, someone who they don't really know. And, they feel like there's always something wrong, and they have to always clamor and try to figure out what it is. And furthermore, to take care of them. So this really is almost, the covert narcissist relationship is kind of like a map. So you are following along with the covert narcissist needs, and you are, led along through a certain path, through a, part of the woods, to a river, into a hill, up a hill, and, through rocky terrain where you were losing your footing, but you stayed with it anyway. And even though you kept on the feeling of, you internalized the feeling of anger, remorse, regret, feeling obligated to stay, and, this fear and this guilt and all this negative projection onto you that made your journey very uncomfortable, you stayed to follow the map. The map, kept you to keep going. And the relationship with a covert narcissist who is malignant and who is very destructive to others in this manner, oftentimes they will keep those others around strictly for the satisfying of their needs, even though they're not giving or really providing the like in return. So you do see a lot of imbalance in this, and people oftentimes suffer. They suffer silently, they suffer quietly, because they don't know, really, they can't put their finger on exactly what is going on. They don't know why they feel this way, but they just tend to just continue on this path. They're following this little, this little map that they're just trying to follow, and they're like, this isn't working out, I have to keep on it. And then, we find these people who stay with these, in the relationship for way too long. They're just in the relationship without their needs being met, and unhappy, and feeling this gulf between them. And even though they're not happy, they tend to stay in it because they can't really articulate it. And then they then begin to internalize this feeling like, I'm not good enough, I will never meet somebody else. So they have this erroneous perception, so they're never allowed to let their wings spread. They're never allowed to become who they are. They're always afraid of who they're going to upset. The narcissist is not going to be supportive. They're going to, begin with the quiet shaming, the quiet devaluation. And even if it's not on the discard, you feel there's this sort of negative evaluation going on with this covert narcissist. And again, it's a malignancy by what is not given. And it's so very difficult to delineate. It's very difficult to articulate. And it's very difficult to prove or, say, because you didn't do this, I have this. It's almost like the negative. And of course, the covert narcissist will never own it. They'll never see it. It's as if, they feel that, well, you're 3, you should be walking around the neighborhood to go find friends without an adult. I mean, if you can pinpoint some of their attitude or their mindset and how it kind of, what it really manifests to, of course you should raise yourself. Your teachers will do it all for you. I mean, it's these sort of assessments which you kind of see, which kind of pinpoint to the fact that they basically are very much into not taking responsibility and accountability. They're not able to see it. If it detracts from their life, if it detracts from their personal interest, oftentimes they don't want to have anything to do with it. They don't care who they squash, whose needs they hurt, whose lives they stunt, stifle, or keep, basically like this, feeling ashamed. They really don't really care. Oftentimes they don't really feel a sense of remorse or regret. It's just kind of like, well, too bad for you. Suck it up. You'll hear a lot of these responses. You should go and do this for yourself. So you can almost look at the manifestation of their cognition and the narcissistic mindset by really the neglect. In other words, you don't need a well-lit house. You don't need, someone to go over your homework with you. You don't need peace, you don't need peace, serenity, and a place to focus. You don't need me around. It's okay for me to be absent. It's a lot of these sort of malignant assertions or synthesis of their behavior patterns, which then manifest in their behaviors, that you're able to kind of deduce back really kind of what the mindset is. And so it's really like a map that you are now in a place where you have followed and you don't want to be there anymore. You're like, this is not the viewpoint. This is not the view on life that I want to get. I need to reroute. I need to start, I need to get an updated map here. This map is not putting me, as I call it, the ladder is up the wrong tree. I'm living in fear. I'm living like I'm invisible. I'm living like I don't have any viewpoint, or I can't share my viewpoint with it being acknowledged, or feeling it's less intelligent or less important. There's always a constant negative evaluation. And if you found this really in sort of that feeling of that map, it's kind of like saying, okay, now is the time for me to put pen to paper and remap and rechart my journey. What do I need? What kind of things do I want to see, experience, become, feel, have, do? Where do I want to be around? If I'm, in a barren desert, with this person, do I want to go to a rainforest? Do I want to go to a more deciduous forest? Do I want a more emotional, juicy relationship? So you can liken it to the terrain and the experiences that you feel, and realize that, your life path had left you here, but it's not too late to change. It's never too late to to make a U-turn. It's never too late to be decisive and have a new goal, objective, and orientation with where you're going. And so it's very important to have a goal, and it's very important to know yourself, and it's very important to you be the one oftentimes to get to know yourself versus this person getting to know you better or sharing with you for you to get to know yourself better, because oftentimes the covert narcissist will passively aggressively engage in sabotage so that you don't have what you need. So you can't go far in your life. You can't surpass them. You can't do better than them. You can't become your best self because you are sabotaged. You're starved emotionally. You're starved with attention. You're starved for eye contact. You're starved for contribution when financial contribution is needed. You're starved for physical affection. You're starved for emotional affection. Verbal communication, just, verbal greetings. This person, it's the old ignore it and it'll go away. I remember, my dentist had that poster in his office. When you lay back to do your dental work, he had a poster on the ceiling that said, ignore your teeth and they will go away. Well, it's kind of like the narcissist, the covert narcissist is very much like, well, if I ignore you long enough, you'll just go away. But if you're married to this person, or this person is a parent, or this person is a sibling or a boss, you're not getting the need, support, direction that you need and that you require, and that is built into the relationship, and is that withholding that's so difficult and so painful. And it's very difficult because it creates a void. And what I also feel is it creates a sort of sabotage and a defeat in those people who have been the narcissistic supply. In other words, if I am defeated enough, at least you win. If I am defeated enough, at least you win. And so you will see the posture of defeat oftentimes in people who are in relationships with a covert narcissist. They're like this, their shoulders are rounded, the shoulders are like this, they're not having their shoulders out. They might have a lot of neck problems, back problems, because their emotions have rolled them in, and they're just feeling depressed, down, and their emotions are all kind of bottled up. And so they don't have the posture. They don't look up oftentimes, constantly looking down at the ground. They're not looking at the environment around them. They're not able to engage with people comfortably. They have a social anxiety. Because they're afraid that, someone is going to invalidate them, and they're not going to know how to deal with it, or someone's going to ask them a question and they're not going to have ever experienced this part of their life. What do you mean, how am I? I don't know. Where do we go from here? They feel like a social anxiety takes them over because they haven't exercised that I amness. They haven't exercised that I matter. They haven't exercised that I am okay. They have not exercised that support, belonging, and confirmation. They have not been able to live that. They might have dreamed it, but they have not lived it. Or they might know in their subconscious that there's something wrong, and there's something they're meant to become, feel, do, be, do, or have, but they haven't gone there yet. And they just kind of feel like, there's something that I need to do or go out and experience, but I don't know quite what it is. I don't even know where to begin. So this can oftentimes be the experience of being in a relationship with a malignant covert narcissist who hasn't, tended to and nurtured you as a seedling, as the embryo. It's just kind of like it was underwatered, undernourished, not enough sunlight, planted in the wrong climate, not given the, information or nutrition, so to speak, emotional nutrition from, in the environment. They kept you, kind of in the wrong area, so you weren't allowed to foster and grow and be yourself. So it's kind of like a seed analogy, but people are very much the same way. Well, they will really grow to the height of their self-esteem. So if your self-esteem is very low, if you inherently believe or were treated like you can't do this, you will never matter, you can't go that far, we don't have what it takes, you don't have my backing on this, so you might as well not. This is not going to happen. I don't see this happening for you, because oftentimes you need someone else's vision in order to see you through. So if your narcissist spouse, covert narcissist spouse, boss, sibling, does not have a vision for you, and vision to see you doing it in your life, and I know that this is a really deep, intangible concept, but if they don't have a vision for you in belief and support, it's very much an intangible sort of just energy that they will have in their in their relationship, but it'll be communicated a number of different ways, physically, emotionally, verbally, etc., opportunity wise, etc. They will then keep you stifled, stuck in a less than opportune or less than functional, very crippling situation. So you see you see the quiet voice, you see the meekness, the timidity that oftentimes is at the reaction to the cohabitation with a covert narcissist who's malignant, and can be inadvertently sabotaging and hindering you of keeping you from your life, your destiny, your purpose, because you're always trying to attend to their needs, wondering, and then also furthermore spend most of your time inquisitive and wondering, what is wrong with me? Why aren't I good enough? There's something about me that is flawed, and getting stuck and snagged on that inner voice that tends to just repeat over and over and over the same question, which of course doesn't, ever find an answer, because it's one of those self-doubt mechanisms that just keeps you perpetually down. It's not an open-ended question that helps you realize that this is just a negative mirroring from this individual that's keeping you down. So it's like you can't see the light if the shades are always drawn. So that's kind of what it is like. And I apologize for this long video, and I hope these videos do help. Please share and please subscribe for more great tools, videos, discussion, and support.